Welcome to Scofield Farm. I'm glad to have you today. I am going to harvest garlic scapes, which is one of my favorite things to harvest and grow, and one of my favorite things to preserve for my family. I like having you here today with me because it is something I look forward to every year. And the very start of June, it is time in Northern California to pull those scapes off of the hardneck garlic. We like to grow a lot of garlic around here. I don't even fully remember how many cloves we planted, but we have garlic here, and we have garlic. It's like a 4x12 bed. We also have a different variety of garlic here. I think we're growing 3 varieties this year. So these are all one kind of soft neck in this bed. Over here, we have, I believe it's early California white, soft neck. And then we have Spanish red or Spanish roja, I think. I can't remember what it's called. It's the hard neck with the scapes. And I can't wait to show you what the scapes look like. I've been growing garlic for, I think now, this is my 11th year, 11th harvest. And yet I've got to confess to you guys, when I first started growing garlic and I heard about hardneck garlic having this scape that comes up from it, which is basically an immature flowering stem that you can eat, I thought it was called a scrape. So I was posting on a Facebook gardening group about how excited I was for my garlic scrapes. And so just say that so that you know, if you do silly things in gardening, you're not alone. I have done silly things so many times, and growing food for 16 years and flowers and herbs longer, I still say things wrong sometimes. So I am right there with you. Okay, let me show you what the scape looks like, because as I said, it is exciting to me. It's only on hardneck garlic, not on softneck garlic. It makes the neck hard because this scape, or this flowering stem that comes up, it likes to curl down around, but it is a flowering stem. It wants to bloom and make a flower. When you pull it off, you give the garlic the message to focus on making the bulb and not making a flower. And they're edible, and they actually make the stem hard. The actual stem of the hard neck is hard, where the soft neck, you could like bend it and braid it and it will be flexible. But it's all because of this scape, that it is a harder stem, that you can't braid this type of garlic. A lot of you might have already known that. Maybe that is no duh for some people, but for me, that was like, whoa, I never knew that would be why they'd be named differently. So if you want to braid your garlic, you want to grow soft neck. It's flexible and bendable. If you want the scape, then you want to grow hard neck. And for me, when we harvest a scape, it actually gives me a timeline or countdown to when I'm going to harvest the hardneck. It's usually about 3 weeks from when I take the scape. So I'll look at the calendar, write down today, or I actually do it more on my phone notes. I'll write down June 2nd, because that's what today is for us here when I'm filming this. And I'll count 3 weeks out, and that is about when I'm going to harvest my hardneck garlic. You also can check garlic by having half of the leaves, the outer leaves, turning like brown or dying back. That is approximately when it's ready. And I'll always pull a test garlic just to find out. That way I don't pull all of my garlic too early or wait and pull all of my garlic too late. Those are just some rules of thumb I use when we grow garlic and we harvest, because we want to get the biggest bulb without it starting to separate and be overgrown. Okay, so it's super simple, and I'm gonna have to go through and make sure I get them all. There's always a few I miss. Here is the scape. It likes to bend around itself, so they're easy to miss. I came out here a few days ago and I didn't even realize they were all right there because they blend in. I take it and I try to actually pull as much as I can out. So I kind of pull on it, I yank to see if any comes up. This one broke off right here. I'll sometimes even break that off, and it's juicy. I pop it in. It's got the loveliest garlic flavor, a little spicy. And so these I like to use, well, there's so many ways to use them. I'll tell you how I use them later. So as I said, this isn't mainly a how-to video. I will link some of that below. I just wanted to bring you along with me and talk to you while I'm out here in the garden before I go pick one of my daughters up from a dance class that doesn't end till 7:30 at night. She actually has several classes that end late this year. It's made it very difficult to commit and do other things and schedule stuff just because dance class ending at 7:30 means we often don't get home till like 8. It is a late evening, and that's just the reality of our lives in this season right now. These are beautiful. I love the little bites. They're so good. I'm actually keep looking, and it's so hard to see where the scapes actually are and see which ones. If I was more organized, I would have started at one end, worked my way down, but that is not how my brain seems to work. So I do what works for me, and then I'll go back and try to find which ones I missed. My chickens are on the other side of the fence. You'll hear them. They think that I'm going to feed them something because whenever I come to the garden, I often give them snacks, whether it is chard or we have endless chard, or strawberries that have been eaten partially by bugs. I usually am throwing them something so they hear me coming, and they're out there ready and waiting for whatever I might decide is their garden treat of the day. Okay, let's see how I did here. Did pretty well in this section. Probably should look over here so I can keep moving forward. So as I said, I have better how-to videos, even though the start of this is a really great way just to know how to recognize escapes and what they're for. I do have a whole video about my favorite way to eat them, which I'll link. I'm not gonna discuss that right now, but I wanted to talk to you guys just because when I first started this channel, it was a pretty good one. Part of the reason I started it is because my cousin was urging me that I have stuff I can share with people, things that are beneficial, not just in gardening, though I love to share what I've learned in gardening. I feel like I have benefited so much from other people sharing with me. I have a specific local friend, Robin, that has, I call her like my garden mentor. I mean, she's poured so much into me over the last 16 years of just learning. You know, I've messaged her with questions. I love to return the favor to other people. But I also like to share other things on my heart, other things of life. My husband and I are pastors at a local church community. I have a teaching credential. I taught in a 2nd grade class, and I also homeschool my children now later on. But I have lots of different things that I like to share about, even though gardening, homesteading is primarily what this channel is about. But there's stuff on my heart, and I like to just talk with you guys sometimes while I work. And one of the things, just thinking about my schedule, just thinking about having to pop over, run downtown to the town we live right outside of, second sunniest city in the US. We actually live on property, not in city limits. And I think about all that's going on, having 7 kids, having a homestead, having boys play soccer. We have 5 boys. We have 2 girls. Girls that dance. We pastor a church. There's lots of activity that goes into that. We have a family. We have a grandma who recently passed away. I have family local, my mom, my sister. We have been working on going through my grandma's stuff, and that's not just emotional, that's, you know, if you've ever done it before, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of attention. It's a lot of brain space, heart space. And sometimes I will take a look at my life, whether it is my schedule, whether it's a bed of garlic that needs to have the scapes harvested. And I will be met with just seeing how much there is on my plate to do and how little I feel like I have to offer to whatever task or request that's before me. And I come up short so often. And I know this can't just be something that I struggle with. I know that this must be more universal feeling. And that's why I kind of wanted to talk to you guys as I first was out here trying to see if my irrigation was working in my garden. I found some major problems. And of course, my husband is not home. He's at a prayer meeting for our community. But here I am going, oh my goodness, there is flooding in part of my garden. I don't know what is broken. I don't know what is leaking. And then I look over and I remember I have this whole bed that I have to get this out because like gardening sometimes has a timeline, and if you don't get the scapes at a certain time, it won't only make it so you don't get to enjoy these to eat, but it also can affect the size of the garlic harvest. And so I'm always juggling, always juggling. I don't know about you. Please let me know in the comments. Please let me know if you feel that juggling feeling. But I'm like working hard in this area, and I feel like there's another area that feels like it's somewhat coming up short. Part of that was when I was homeschooling. We just finished for the summer. I'd worked really hard on something, and then, you know, my gardening was coming up short. Trying to help with my grandma's stuff, and the house is a disaster. And then trying to figure out the crazy soccer schedule of so many tournaments, lots out of town, 5 out of 6 weekends, and I'm not there to help enough with my grandma's stuff, and on I could keep going. And I just have to say that so much of our life, hold that thought, I just want you to see who is right behind me while I talk to you. Oh my goodness, she's so cute, and she wants me to give her something, and I need to find something to feed her because she is just so sweet. I had to get her some chard. She was so sweet and patient. So many other chickens, they like ambushed me, but then they wandered away. Here you go, baby. You're a good girl. Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So I guess what I'm trying to say, no matter what we have before us, I think the human experience is an experience of being acquainted with our weakness and our lack of ability to do all the things or do them all well. Maybe we can balance really well a lot of the things, but it doesn't matter how good we are at balancing. There's going to be something that feels somewhat lacking. We're going to be acquainted with our weakness, and I think that's on purpose. I think that keeps us humble. I think that keeps us compassionate with others who maybe we see them coming up lacking in some areas. Maybe there are areas we're strong in, but when we're aware of areas we're weak in, we can be compassionate and caring to them and realize that we can't hold a standard for other people that we know we cannot do ourselves. I don't know, at least that feels like something that God has really emphasized to me, is that I can't be an idealist and think that everything's going to get done, everything's going to be the right way. I joked with my husband at a soccer tournament in Oregon last weekend or weekend before, and I said, I thought we said that things were going to slow down after fill in the blank. Like, spoiler alert, things don't often slow down. There's something else that comes up. This one's short. I usually like to wait till they're like this, but I kind of think I'm going to forget it if I don't pull it out now. I don't know. This might be it's a little different. This isn't exactly homesteading garden content, but it is life content. Like, this is something that no matter if you're gardening, you're homesteading, you are homeschooling, you're parenting, you're in a relationship, you're in a marriage, you're in ministry, there is some way you're going to see your lack for what it is and have to either fight against it or do the best you can and humble yourself and be compassionate to both yourself and to other people. I think when we can be realistic and compassionate with ourselves, we can be realistic and compassionate with those around us and realize that they may be doing the best they can and they're humans just like us. I used to blog, I used to write. I probably should write again. It used to be very therapeutic. I loved it, but I haven't really written since my dad died 12 years ago. So I'm sharing some of the thoughts that maybe in the past I would have written down, and I don't know, it's maybe verbal processing, maybe it's helpful to some people, maybe not, but it's where I'm at. I'm gonna do the best I can on this garlic bed, and hopefully give you permission to realize there's other people who feel very behind, who feel lacking, who would love to say that my schedule is wide open. But when I look at my schedule, it's going to be like a month till I can meet with someone that I really want to spend time with. And it feels weak to say that. And yet that's the reality of serving my family. It's the reality of the season I'm in. And it's okay if I can approach something with humility and love and kindness for others and kindness for myself. Part of what I desired for this channel, for this community, is to be real with how we as a family homestead and garden and grow food and raise food and have animals and property in California, which is a place that has made it very difficult to do these things how we would like to do them, and hopefully invite others who don't feel like they can do things an ideal way, a perfect way, to let go of ideals and just do it. Just do what you can and be able to be settled with it's enough that you're doing something and that you're moving forward. Things are not going to be perfect. Relationships are not going to be perfect. Gardening, growing food, something is going to go wrong. I had to go buy pretty root-bound hardware store zucchini and summer squash because I direct sowed 4 times and the bugs just would not let my zucchini and summer squash come up. So I bought subpar starts. They weren't even good starts. They're overgrown, and you know what? It's okay. It's gonna have to be enough. Things are not gonna be some like storybook kind of life. Real life, when we can be happy with reality and let go of ideals, we can be happy. We can be happy in relationships when we stop holding others and ourselves to an impossible standard. And I'm not saying to not do your best and give your all. And as my husband says as a soccer coach, I'm not saying to not leave it on the field. Yes, pour yourself into life, live life fully, but don't have something that is impossible for you or others to obtain and then walk around with a jaded feeling of disappointment about life. Life is beautiful. Life is messy. Life has so much that goes wrong. But I think we can find joy even in the moments that we could otherwise be disappointed. We can look and see the beauty. And that's something I've worked on very hard and have so far to go. But I want a community of people that it's okay to grow food and it not be perfect. It's okay to raise animals and to homestead and not know everything, to be learning, to be growing, and be patient with ourselves and be patient with others. I like real life and honest life, and it's a beautiful, messy life. And if you happen to be a person of faith like I am, it's an opportunity for us to entrust ourselves to God and to realize that we are not ultimately in control of life anyway. We can do the best things we can. I think that there's a passage in the book of Proverbs that says, in a heart, a man plans his course, but the Lord determines his steps. And so we do our best effort. We make our best plans. We plant the garden. We raise the chickens. We get the bees, and we read the books, and we watch the videos, and we do what we can. But at the end of the day, we trust. We trust in our weakness. We trust in our humanness, that things aren't going to be perfect, and that's okay. And that's the beauty of life, is we are meant to entrust ourselves to a creator that cares about us, and he feeds the birds. He feeds the birds that don't store up. I don't know. If that resonates, you can hit the like button. And even if it doesn't, I hope that maybe it's something that encourages you that I am weak. I'm going to teach you things along the way. And I'm also going to show you that I don't have everything together. I have a broken window up in my garage, and life. I wish that wasn't in the background of my video, but that is reality. 7 kids, a kid broke the window with a soccer ball, and that is real life, and that is real homestead life. It is not a Pinterest looking perfect magazine cover. It is living life and growing food and raising families and raising animals and doing the best that we can. And one of my little dancers came out to help me. She is a pro. Show them how you pull the garlic scape. Pull it out. There we go. Put it in the bucket. I love bringing my kids along. It's another thing. Teaching kids to garden with you, you have to realize things will not be perfect, but they will learn and it will become second nature to them to grow food, to be involved in their food, and to not have some standard of being perfect to live up to. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next video.